You should lose your real estate license if you're doing this. And that is marking your listings pending without either negotiating non-refundable earnest money or keeping the house on the market while the buyer does their due diligence. Let me explain. The seller is the one who takes a huge risk when accepting an offer and deciding to take their house off the market just to have a flaky buyer back out of the deal, not because of the inspection, not because of financing issues, but because of pure flakiness. And then you know what happens next. When that seller goes back on the market, they've now lost all of their momentum. So here's what we're gonna do instead. When negotiating offers on the behalf of my seller, I always make that buyer agent feel like the hero. I always lead them to believe that they're in control. Here's what I mean. I simply tell them, look, the seller's comfortable with everything, but there's one small concern that they have that I need your help with. They've heard that sometimes buyers can back out of the deal because the contract supports it, not because of inspection issues, not because of any financing issues, but because they have a change of mind. And so the sellers are concerned that if they go under contract, it's nothing to do with your buyer, but they're just concerned if they go under contract with your client and for some reason they change their mind, they're going to be left high and dry. What can we do to help the seller's concern so that we can move forward? Now, when the buyer agent says, well, I don't know, what do you have in mind? Or what do you think the seller would make them feel more comfortable? This is where you can make the recommendation. Well, either, Mr. Buyer Agent, we can either keep the house on the market, continue to show it as is while your client is doing their due diligence. Of course, they've got the first right of refusal. Or we can do some type of non-refundable earnest money only in the event that the buyer backs out of the contract, not because of an inspection issue, not because of financing issue, but if they, for some reason, have a change of heart, they've got some skin in the game. Now, the buyer agent is anxious to call their client back to say, hey, listen, I'm the hero, good news, we've got an accepted offer. So this is the best time to do this negotiation. Now, if a buyer isn't willing to put non-refundable earnest money on the table, I mean, that's a huge red flag. This is probably because it's likely that buyer's not that committed to actually following through with the purchase of the home. Remember, at the end of the day, if you're a listing agent, you are the client's fiduciary. Your job is to protect the seller's best interest.